Hey everybody. My name's Richard. This is going to be the first episode of Dicky's Pioneer Workshop. Just something I want to do. It's a business I'm trying to get up and running. It's a little bit of leather working, a lot of blacksmithing, a little bit of woodworking, maybe building some sheds, whatever. Anything that tickles my fancy. But specifically, it'll be, I don't have one laying around I'd show you. Mostly leather working. I don't do a whole lot for my own self. Like right now, I'm stitching together a pair of pucker toe moccasins, and I have a canoe for a foot. And I made a set for my pastor's son. These little bitty little things, just to kind of get an idea of how they come together. These aren't necessarily accurate. I don't expect them to be. I mean, you take a 14-month-old little boy and try and get him to hold his feet still, and the line's up here a little crooked, but they fit his feet, and that's all that matters. And they're getting waterproofed right now. I got them sprayed up, and whatever. But I don't know how much talking I'll do in these. It might just be, this is what I'm doing, and you can watch or not, whatever. But I got a lot of family back home, and they always wonder what I'm doing, and so this is what I do. And I say back home, I'm in East Tennessee right now. I'm originally from upstate New York, and I say upstate because I ain't never been to the city, and I'll never go to the city. Yeah, it's not for me. But yeah, I mean, it's like, goodness, I don't even know. It's like 5:30 in the morning. I'm currently working at Home Depot, working third shift, 7 to 3:30. I got home, I wasn't tired. I mean, I can't go right to sleep when I go to bed, so I pedal around, And I made a pair of Hirachis a while back, and all it is, I mean, this is basically what a Hirachi would be. But it just has leather straps, you put it through your toe and it come around and you tie it up, and, maybe I'll put one on someday and take a picture or whatever, but, and they're nice. It was nice. I made them back home, and I enjoyed hiking in them, but back home there wasn't like gravel up in the hiking trails. It's like you go up here in the Smokies and it's like there's gravel. Like, why are you graveling hiking trails, But there's a lot of stones and stuff, and just stuff gets up under. If you wear flip-flops or sandals, you understand you get a stone or whatever stuck up inside there. And here I'm just talking, and I could be working. You get something up under there, and it's uncomfortable. It's like, so I have native blood in me. Not enough. I don't think there's enough to be registered or whatever. But my grandmother, her father was full-blood Ojibwe, and her mother was full-blood Mohawk. And it's my understanding that the Ojibwe, which were on the western side of the Great Lakes, and the Mohawks, which are part of the Iroquois Nation, were on the east side of the Great Lakes. And, the Ojibwe Nation was pretty big, and it's my understanding that they were like blood enemies. So could you imagine, family reunions, get an Ojibwe and a Mohawk, get married, and it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing? I don't know. It was interesting though, just looking up that stuff. But anyway, like I said, this is like a little, this is my take. It's not accurate. I mean, I guess you just do what works, but just a little pucker toe moccasin, I think they call them. And but yeah, that's what I'm working on. And like right now, I'm on my couch. Like I said, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know what time. Doesn't matter. I got this little stitching pony. I just set it under my legs, and you see, I'm working on my moccasin there. And it's interesting. I'll show you as it goes. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of takes. You're gonna see me in different clothes. I like to pedal, I like to, my blacksmithing, that's where I make a bunch of money. most of my leather working, I just make my own stuff, make stuff for people I know. You know, just it's nice when you have ADHD to get a project that shuts your brain down, and this is one of them. You know, a lot of times I'll put a podcast on or, you know, whatever. But anyway, I've got this super, super thick cowhide. It's vegetable tan. It's like thickness as if you got a big belt or something. And then I've got these. Now you see this is square. This is going to be the other side. And what you do is you stitch it all the way around this thing. And I might take you through some of it. I don't know. I made one pair for a 14-month-old little boy. But you got to mark it on your foot just right, and you make a couple cuts, and you stitch a baseball stitch, and you stitch the back up, and you put a top on there, and I'll take you along through all that. But like I got this in my stitching pony. I've taken and I've gone through and I've got these two little, you know, hole punches, and I punched holes all the way around, and I'm not taking that out of there. But I had this little awl. Even though the holes are already punched, it's easier to just stick this awl in there and just run your needles through. And I'm doing a saddle stitch, so I got 2 needles. Just run one through, and it's super important when you pull the other one through, and you put it through the same hole. I always give it a little bit of a twist, but you always, as you're pushing through, pull the other loop, because if this needle gets stuck in this line, I know you can't see that. If you want a detailed instruction on how to do a saddle stitch, there's better videos out there. But I always give it a couple wraps around the needle and just pull it tight. And there you go, saddle stitch. You know, I might bring you in closer on another part of this. I was just sitting here and listen, I had a YouTube video on, watching a little ASMR. I don't know if y'all watch any of that stuff or not, but I enjoy it. It's relaxing. It's not like a movie where you got to pay attention. You're gonna miss a bunch of stuff. Just if you don't know what it is, just look it up. You know, I enjoy it. It's peaceful. Like I say, I've had the idea to make a channel for the business. I've already got one for my adventures, and I got like 4 or 5 videos that I've not edited just because I'm lazy when it comes to certain things, and I'm not technologically advanced. You know, I mean, I'm literally making myself a pair of hiking shoes. You know, that's resourcefulness, but I'm also cheap. I don't like to go spend money if I don't have to. And, but, you know, some people would get a sewing machine, or they would just go buy a pair, pay somebody else to do it, or, you know, this is my expertise, stuff like this, doing stuff with my hands. You'll see some blacksmithing videos. I watch a lot of Mr. Chickadee stuff, and, you know, with all the stuff that he does, and he doesn't talk a whole lot, and I think I kind of like his channel because of that, you know. So this is what this might end up being. You know, there might be some days I'll just turn it on and pretend like it ain't there, as if you're standing there and watching me. I don't know. I talk to myself a lot, so there'll be some of that. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, the videos. But yeah, I've got a bunch of videos from my other channel that I've got, some on my phone, a bunch on my GoPro. And I just got to sit down, get them up on the laptop, and just edit them. You know, and I'm not big on editing stuff either. What's nice about this stitching pony, it's got this little wing nut here. I just loosen it up, and I can adjust this, you know. So wherever I'm working, it's just a little vise. It's just got this little piece of wood that comes up on either side. And here's those holes I was telling you. So I got the holes in here. I've marked this line. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got holes in here as well. You see, this is gonna have to come around the corner. And but anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna try and do some more videos and get some stuff up there. I'm not necessarily doing this for likes and follows and subscribes and all that stuff. You know, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have a whole past of subscribers and maybe make a little bit of money, but I ain't worried about that. If I was worried about doing something to make money, I'd be out there selling firewood or hauling trash or delivering pizzas. You know, I'm not doing it for that. I'm just an idea I had one day that I might like, and you know, I've made a couple and some people have enjoyed it. And you know, I go to festivals with my blacksmithing, and people love watching me work. And you know, a lot of the stuff that I do as far as my blacksmithing and my woodworking and the leather working, I like using tools and techniques that would have used back in like the 1800s. I don't like doing, you know, I'm not the type that's going to go out there and buy a leather sewing machine. I had one, but a friend of mine was in the market for one, and I never used mine. I literally, if I make sheaths, I've got 2 layers of this thick leather for if I'm doing a knife sheath or, you know, whatever, or a face mask for an axe. And just gets old, you know, taking that punch. And a lot of times I'll use, so like this punch here is just a solid punch. You know, I know you can't see that too well. I don't know if that'll, you know, it's just a solid, you know, doesn't really punch the holes really through. But something like this actually punches the holes out. The leather will come out of there. It's a big old hole punch. But if there's other people living with you, you can't be hammering on stuff at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I would go in if I had to hankering to work on something, and it was a manual sewing machine. So you had this lever, and you know, and every time you pulled it, it would cycle through. But I used the needle to punch holes, and I'd go through and sew my stuff, so I didn't wake up my roommate. And but yeah, I didn't think I was even going to talk this much, so this might just be an introduction video, and maybe I'll do something altogether different for these moccasins. It's not, I don't really want to do like tutorials and stuff. Maybe someday, you know, I've got no problem teaching somebody something. If I know it well enough, not even if I know it well, it doesn't matter, you know. Like this is it. This is the only pair of moccasins I've ever made. you know, this little bitty as a, just a, if I mess up, it's not much leather. Where if I mess these up, I mean, that's almost a half a deer hide worth of buckskin. So I don't really want to mess these up, you know. But I have the general understanding of how to do something. If you're like, hey Richie, do you know how to whatever, you know, like my buddy Cody, he was working on his bug, and he's got a 60 something punch bug, and he's asking me, hey, do you know how to do this? I says, well, kind of. We're working on something. I do. He had to work on something, and I says, I come take a look at it. I don't know for sure, but we'll figure it out. But like if it comes to like these moskins, I'm not a professional by any means, but if you're like, hey, you know, I want to know how to do that, I can show you what I know, but I'm not a professional. I'm not a master. I'm not, you know, I like knowledge. I like wisdom. I like searching things out. And I like sharing. You know, I'm a pretty young guy. I mean, I'm 33. But I like to study things out. If I don't know how something works, I need to figure it out. And then I like to tell people about it. You know, if it can help somebody, you know. I'm not the kind of person that's gonna be like, it took me 6 years to figure out how to do that. I'm not just gonna tell you. No. I like wisdom so much that I get so excited when I learn something that if somebody's looking in a similar direction, for example, like I said, I do a little bit of blacksmithing, and I posted a picture the other day that I'm getting my temporary shop set back up because I've recently moved to a new location, and I want to get my shop built, but I don't have it set up yet. So I set up my temporary forge, and I'm like, won't be long now, I'll be getting stuff hot and hitting it hard again. And there's some people I know from back home, some friends of mine from school, that actually asked if they could come down and take lessons. I'm like, shit, I can barely even do this. I can't really teach, but I'll teach you what I know. It ain't much, but I'll teach you what I know. You know, so if you get on there and you have a question like, why'd you do it like that? Or, you know, where did you learn that? Most everything I know, depending on the subject, of course, if it's got anything to do with small engines or using my noodle to figure things out, there's two men that I can give a lot of credit to, and that is my Uncle Scott and my Papa. Both of those men have taught me how to be a critical thinker and how to figure things out and how to, you know, do about anything that you want to do. And if it comes to vehicles, because like I said earlier, I'm not a wealthy man by any means. I'm making my own hiking shoes. You know, I could buy a pair of these for like $100, $150, whatever they're going for now. but they're not going to be custom fit to my feet. You know, why would I give somebody that kind of money if I've already got the tools and a general understanding of how to use those tools? Then all I need is a pattern, you know. And I can't even take credit for this pattern, but if you're interested, I'll post a link to where I got the pattern, and y'all can go watch that. But like I said, I'm not a wealthy man, so when it comes to auto repair, if I don't do it, it ain't gonna get done, because oh boy, ain't got no money to pay somebody to do that, I promise you. So everything I know about auto mechanics, I would say 99.9% of it is from a good friend of mine back home. His name is Charles Michael. His friends call him Lenny. And he's taught me everything that I know. So I'm going to show you how I finish this knot here. So what I've done is I've stitched all the way to the end, and I've come back a couple, and I've got this needle sticking through. And it's very important that you finish on the top side. You don't want to finish on the bottom of the shoe where you're going to step on the knot. You want to finish up here. So I'm going to get this pulled up real tight. And all I'm doing is tying a square knot. You know, right over left and left over right. But the difference is, my right over left, my first layer, I just do a single. But this one I'm going to do a double. So all that means is I'm going over it once and over it twice. And then I'm going to pull it tight. I don't know if that helps or not. It makes me feel better. That's all that matters. And I'm going to pull that super snug. Now this line is waxed. I just get spools of it, you know. And when you pull it tight like that, it warms that wax up just a touch, and it kicks some of it out of there. And gotta find my knife. I ain't gotta look far because I got this is like my little go-to. You know, I've got way more tools than this. I was lucky enough to be given a very large set of leatherworking tools, and this is the go-to. I use it for about every project. But something I found. Quit, Jack. Don't. My dog's over there dumping food out of his dish. But let's see if I can get closer. I'm just trying to show you this. So a lot of people, and what I used to do, is you take your knife and cut away from those knots. I don't do that anymore. I put the knife close to where I want it cut. And then you kind of see that. And then I'll pull the strings. Ready? So that way it doesn't mess your knot up. Because if you yank on the knife, it could tweak that knot, and you don't want to do that. I'm just going to reach behind the phone. I got my lighter over here. So you can see I don't have, I don't know, maybe 3/16. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But I've got this torch lighter, and I'm going to try and keep it in focus and not burn myself or my beard or my leather. Yeah, the technology part. But you just want to get that hot, and then I'll take the lighter and I'll rub over that, and of course But either way, you want to melt it down and press it in, and it's going to melt that string together with the wax, and it should never come out. But you just unscrew your stitching pony. And now I've got half my moccasin stitched up. You see, it's just a big rectangle, but what you do is you put your foot in there, and then wherever my ankle comes up, I'm going to mark a line across the face of this, right in here somewhere, wherever it ends up being. I'll probably show you all that. And then you have the other side, you know, obviously. And wherever that line is, it's going to come up through here somewhere up until your ankle. And you'll cut that line, and then do the same with the other side, cut that line, and you do a baseball stitch right along the tongue here. So it'll look like that. I mean, that's not necessarily a very good job, but you get the idea. It's kind of like a baseball stitch. I've never done one, so I got to practice. But, well, I did too. But anyway, there's that, and it'll stop up here somewheres, and then you'll stitch the back up, and then I'll take another piece of this leather and attach to the top, because this will only come about to my ankle, and I'm going to want it to come up a good 3-4 more inches, and that's just to keep, you know, I can tie it snug and just keep debris out my shoes, make it a more comfortable hike. But yeah, so I guess this is just going to be an intro, and we'll see. I don't know if I want to make a full video on them shoes or not, but if I do, you'll see that next, I guess. But anyway, welcome to Dicky's Pioneer Workshop, and typically, like I said, I like tools and techniques from the 1800s, but I also like to dress the part. I like, what is that? Oh, thought there's something in my beard. It's just a gray hair. I like to dress the part, so I'll wear like broadfall breeches. I'll wear linen shirts. I got an Amish made hat. You know, I like looking the part, and they're comfortable. You know, they might be goofy looking pants. You'll see me next time I go out to the forge. And when you see me out there, I have an apron. I made me a nice leather apron. And, but yeah, I look forward to y'all joining me. And if y'all stick around, good. If you don't, it's all right. I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this to, like I said, if I get likes and subscribes, that'd be nice. I'd like that boost of confidence from people who actually like to see the things that I do. But it's for family mostly back home, and you know. But family isn't necessarily just blood. It's like I've got church family down here. I'm not blood kin to any of them, but they're my family, you know. So if y'all want to join in and be part of the Pioneer Workshop family, I'd like that. I need some more people in my life that like to enjoy the things that I do, and y'all are more than welcome to come along for the ride. Y'all take care now, you hear?